Hi, I'm Tracy Pierce. Thanks for joining me. During the coronavirus pandemic, I'm doing a series of free mini animal communication sessions, and today's is somewhat unique. I mean, technically humans were animals, right? But the person I'm talking with today is Addison, and today is Addison's birthday. He turns 19 today. And Addison is a very unique soul. He was diagnosed with cerebral palsy when he was very young, and he does live in a children's hospital. And right now, where he lives, the hospital is on complete lockdown. His mom isn't even able to go in and visit him right now. So, especially since today is Addison's birthday, we wanted to connect in with him and see what he wanted to share with us, about life for him, what's going on. We can wish him a happy birthday. So I'm gonna go ahead and share Addison's picture here. All right, there we go. This is Addison. And I've definitely talked to Addison before, and he's very, he's just got this consciousness that is literally out of this world. So if you're joining us live, let me make sure I got my chat box pulled up here on Zoom. So if you're on Zoom, you can, on the bottom bar, there should be a button that says chat. If you click on that, it should pull up the chat box. So if you have questions for Addison, you can enter them that way. Or if you're joining us on Facebook, you can enter any questions you have for Addison in the comments. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get quiet and start tuning into Addison. So initially, what I hear right away is, as I was trying to decide what shirt to wear for our session today, Addison was chiming. He's like, "Wear the pink one with the sparkles." So I did, and he's thanking me now for wearing that. Celebration day, Addison. So I feel like he's really directing me to this very high place to meet him. Yeah, and again, Addison has this consciousness that's really feels very remote and high and kind of pristine. It's good to connect with you again, Addison. So I'm really turning the floor over to you. We're wishing you happy birthday from afar. And I just wonder if there's anything you'd like to share with our viewers or people who are listening in about you, about the world, just whatever you'd like to share, Addison. He's saying, I feel very happy today. There is an air of celebration in the hospital, well, in his room anyway, where he lives. Yeah, the people here definitely know it's my birthday and they're treating me special because it's my birthday. I feel very excited about today. Yeah, and there's this sense of like, yeah, I'm gonna miss that my mom can't come in and be with me physically, but I think they have a Zoom conversation set up and he's really looking forward to connecting with her on Zoom. He's actually saying that he feels like during this time of the hospital being locked down is actually quite beneficial for his mom, he says, because it really, sometimes she relates to me on a down here level a lot, which is great. I definitely need down here care. But one of the things I've been working with her on is to meet me higher in the space. It's like a different level of consciousness where he wants her to meet him. And he said through Zoom, and because they can't have the physical contact right now that they usually do, that it is kind of forcing her to make a little change in her consciousness so that she can meet with him higher and in a different way. He actually really feels like this is a good exercise for the two of them to practice and work on. Yeah, he's really aware of how um, stressful, or this puts some strain on his mom that she can't see him in person, and he wants her to know that he's really okay. He's doing really well. He loves the workers that are the healthcare workers that are coming in to take care of him, and he feels really well taken care of during this. He says he can feel mom kind of directing the healthcare workers from afar, that she's still very involved, and he can feel her impact or her presence, or the words that she's telling the what's the right word, the relay person, or the person that's talking, like if there's a head person at the hospital that then kind of relays out all the messages to the other people. Like he can feel the imprint or the impression that his mom has made on them, and feels that they're doing a really good job taking care of him. So don't worry about me, Mom, he says. Okay, I know she worries about you a little bit sometimes. What else do you want to tell us, Addison? Like, what's it like to be 19? Or if that's not important, what else do you want to tell us? Yeah, he feels like 19 is a big step for him. Like there's something about turning 18 when you're officially an adult, but turning 19 is like stepping past that. So when you turn 18, it's like going, like starting a road race is what I'm seeing is like, oh, I'm adult. I can surge ahead and run forward. And he's saying turning 19 is like, wow, I really feel more fully an adult now. Like I've had a whole year of being technically an adult. And he feels really happy to be 19. He's like, wow, I'm here. I'm still here. A lot of people with my condition don't live as long as I have. So I'm checking for questions here, Addison. Kim's wishing you happy birthday, Addison. So as a reminder, if you're joining us a little later, if you have a question for Addison, you can either click on the chat box in Zoom or enter it into the comments on Facebook. All right, Addison, what else would you like to share with us today? I'm really kind of turning the floor over to you. He's showing me that his point of view about the pandemic and the coronavirus is really different from what he feels like other people in the world. He shows himself, it's almost like, so if here's the world, like he's kind of above it and looking down, like he has, I don't know, I always kind of get this impression talking to Addison, like he's a master chess player. Like he's like looking at the chessboard above, and like he sees the checkmate like 15 moves down the road, or even more than that maybe. Yeah, he's showing like this pandemic is kind of like a blip on the radar. Like, yeah, it's a big deal in human history right now, but compared to overall, like the lifespan of the earth and the universe, like this is just a tiny blip in what's happening. And he's reminding us that we are so much bigger than our just physical human bodies down here. He's like, I'm such a perfect example of that. Like my presence, my higher self, I can really feel it, even though I'm in this physical body down here that isn't perfect and maybe seems a bit mangled or twisted to other people. It's a way coming into this existence with this kind of body has been a way for him to really get in touch with, or to see things from a different point of view. It was one of the reasons he picked this kind of incarnation that way, was he wanted to not have as much attachment to the physical world. Okay, so we've got a couple questions coming in. Nancy's also wishing you happy birthday. Addison, your mom would like to know, what's the most that people can learn right now? Yeah, again, he's showing this higher vision or higher intuitive standpoint. And he's saying that so many of us in the human race are so attached to our physical bodies. Like, we think that our physical bodies are who we are. And it's not. In fact, our physical bodies are just a tiny fraction of who we really are, is what Addison is saying. So I get this sense of like gathering energy. So like gathering energy from the body, and or is it from the body, or he's like, well, the energy of the soul or the higher self, he's saying, is kind of, it's spread throughout our physical bodies, and, you know, can radiate out even from our energy. But yeah, it's like it gets a little leaky or messy is what he's saying. He's like, there's a way we can gather in our own energy and hold our own energy in a more kind of compact way. And he's showing like drawing it in and then drawing it up. And can you show me that again, please, Addison? Yeah, he's saying, you know, that might be kind of difficult for some people who aren't aware of their energy and things like that. But people who've maybe done some meditation practices might have an easier time of like gathering their energy and holding it, pulling it up higher. Yeah, but what he really wants people to learn and realize is that we are so much more than just our physical bodies. Okay, we've got another question here. So Nancy would like to know, what are the things that make you the happiest, Addison? Well, I feel his mom, first of all, come forward. I love it when she comes to visit. I love it. She's showing, I'm sorry, Addison's showing his brother as well. Like, he's showing, you know, the three of us have been through so much together that when we come together, the three of us, there's like this celebration in our energy. And almost every time I feel this like little explosion of joy in my energy whenever I see them. I love it when they come to visit me. Are there other things that make you happy? He's showing he loves it when he's able to leave the hospital room. He's showing like himself in the wheelchair, and he gets to go and outside, and I see sort of like gardeny flowers, foliage, green. Being outside, he really likes that. It makes me very happy. There's a very different quality to the air, he says, in the hospital versus going outside. And going outside helps his energy kind of replenish and release some of the gunkiness that might come in from being in the hospital. Are there any other things that make you the happiest, Addison? Well, I feel Fern too. Fern is Addison's cat, really. The cat doesn't live with him at the hospital, but the cat lives at home. We talked to Fern a few days ago. Maybe I'll put a link to that talk in the, so you can find it later if you're interested, but he's showing that this cat Fern makes him really happy as well. Like, and we don't get to hang out with each other in person anymore, he says, but I'm always communicating with her, and she's keeping an eye on the house, on my mom and brother for me, Addison says. So I love connecting in with Fern. Yeah, he's saying, the things that really make him the happiest aren't necessarily about down here physical kind of things, like it's more the spiritual higher things that give him the most joy. Oh, your mom says, I love you, Addison. It's like, I know. I love you too. All right, so checking for any other questions for Addison. Addison, do you have any special requests for your birthday today? He says, well, if anybody else wants to wish me happy birthday, it's interesting. So he's showing like a lot of times when humans speak, we speak and our words go out like this, like kind of more horizontally. And he's saying, if you really want to wish me happy birthday, then you have to say it up here this way. He's pointing up, like, say happy birthday, Addison, and send it up really, really high, and I'll be able to catch it. It's like, yeah, sure. I'd love it if everybody would wish me happy birthday up there above. That'd be really cool. We could kind of have like a party or something up there. I see like all this kind of sparkliness above, and yeah, it's almost like Addison's little private party. Any other requests, Addison? No, he's just like, no, on a down here level, everything's great. I feel like we're going to have a great birthday celebration. Even if it's just my mom on Zoom today, like everything is going to be really good. I feel really positive about today and that. Addison, is there anything else you'd like to share with us, or anything you really want viewers to know, either about you or this situation in the world today? I really get this impression of it's going to be okay. And it may not be okay in the traditional way that we want it to be, but he's showing, so it's not quite like a roller coaster, but what I see is like this path, then there's this blip, coronavirus, and things are gonna kind of shift and change. He's like, fear is kind of a human uh, normality, is that right? And fear is the human normal today. And he's saying, I'm not telling you not to feel your feelings or not to feel afraid, because some, like, realistically, a lot of these things that are happening can feel really scary, but he wants us to remember that there is a higher part of ourselves that we can touch into if we really want to, and that's the part of us that really lasts eternally. And yeah, he's saying that generally humans, we feel a lot of attachment to our physical reality, and a lot of times we don't realize that there's something bigger and more. And he feels like if we can really tap into that, that's what is going to get us through this pandemic in a more smooth kind of way. Okay, we got another question from Kim. So, Addison, how do you suggest we pull our energy higher on the days that we feel low? So what I feel is sort of this gathering of energy, and it's sort of in the third eye area, but it's more like the third eye area in the middle of the head, like as if the third eye was a tunnel that went all the way through your head. It's more in the middle, and I feel this gathering of the energy there. And then he's showing from there going above. It's almost just like, he said he acknowledges that this particular thing he's suggesting could actually be difficult for some people, but feeling that gathering of energy in the center of your head, and then from there starting to be very vertical and just slowly going up and up and up. And it's a sort of feeling of very consciously like pulling your energy higher. Is there more you want to add to that, Addison? He says sometimes what is helpful for some people is, I mean, it's kind of imagining is what he's saying, but there's a way of kind of looking at yourself from above. It's like I almost feel like I'm looking down on a set of puppet, the puppets that have the strings that do this, and I can't remember the correct term for it. So it's almost like you're looking down on yourself as if you were this puppet and being directly above this verticality of the head and pulling up from there. He says it does really take a lot of being able to shift your consciousness and reposition, and he acknowledges that this might actually be kind of difficult for some people, but he does encourage people to keep bringing awareness above. Okay, Madison. So we're getting close to the end of the time. I'm just going to give a second to see if we have any last questions from any of our live viewers. And just give Addison a chance. If there's anything else, Addison, you'd like to share while we're waiting for questions to kind of trickle in here at the end. I feel Addison almost like a cheerleader, and he's, shaking the pom-poms like, yeah, Mom, we got this, Mom. Yeah, there's just a lot of reassurance for Addison's mom. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today. He says to his mom, I think they're meeting here soon after our conversation. All right, so it looks like there's no more questions. Thank you so much, Addison, for talking with us. And thanks to everybody who joined us live here today. It's been such a joy and so much fun for me to do these communications throughout the pandemic, our lockdown here in the US. And if you're watching this and you have an animal, or it could even, potentially be a human who is not able to speak for themselves, go ahead and send me a message and let me know what the situation is. Send me a picture of your animal friend or your human. Let me know what the situation is, and we can see if I can get them into the queue before the end of April. So again, thanks so much for joining me here today, and until next time, take care and be well.